Hey there, you silly little goose. Welcome back to another video. Hey guys, I'm back with another video because I'm feeling generally inspired right now. I don't know if it's my iced Americano or not, but I'm feeling good. So today's video, I was just sitting up in my room thinking to myself while playing the new Pokemon, I was like, you know what'd be really nice is home ownership. And then I laughed at myself and I was like, that's never gonna happen. But I can still fantasize about exactly what I'm gonna fill my home with if I had a home or an apartment by myself where I don't share it with some roommates who I can't just take over the whole entire space with my style. So today I'm going to be talking about these 5 niche interior design aesthetics that I'm very obsessed with right now, and I think you need to be a part of these because they're very interesting. I think you're going to enjoy this. You're going to be like, yeah, that's something I need in my life. Today we're not talking about modern farmhouse, we're not talking about bohemian, we're not talking about mid-century modern. We're talking about none of that, okay? You can keep all those. Everyone's doing that. I am just not obsessed with those right now. I'm more obsessed with these interior design aesthetics that make you say, okay. You do you, right? So, according to Pastel Hogue from Architizer.com, he self-describes solarpunk as generally characterized by grand, swooping, biophilic structures replete with vertical forests and solar panels, and in which people live in happy harmony with nature. These renderings evoke a utopian future that might be mistaken for science fiction. So these are things like this structure and this beautiful things where you have just nature sprawling inside of it while looking kind of like a sci-fi wonderscape. You know, it's like if the world didn't have humans anymore, but at the point where it wasn't total annihilation for the world, but like we had achieved scientific peaks as people, and then we died off, you know, and then the plants took over, that kind of thing. So not a war-torn landscape in an apocalypse, but something where people can look at it and be like, they might have done something good, and then something happened where they died. Like, oops, sorry guys, we're dead. Not like, we did this to ourselves. I know you know what I mean. So I think I'm obsessed with this design in more of a surface level kind of thinking about it. There is a deeper level to solarpunk that I can try to like touch on and dip in. Maybe I'll do a video where I deep dive into solarpunk. But for me, it's just kind of like an aesthetic, which is really against what solarpunk is. But don't kill me. I haven't committed my life to that kind of thing yet, but maybe I will. I love the concept that you want to take your home and incorporate it into the earth and nature as much as possible. Instead of just plopping your house somewhere where it doesn't belong, you can kind of really make it feel like it belongs and then let nature take over. And you live in like a cute little harmony with nature. And you're just like giggling and laughing late at night talking about boys. So if you really want to see some good examples of solarpunk style in action, Singapore has a couple that I found that were really very interesting. And I'm definitely going to butcher these names, so let me know if I said that wrong. But the first one is one of their airports. It's called the Jewel Changi Airport. I'm not sure. It's got this huge kind of like funnel, like glass funnel in the ceiling that just lets down a waterfall in the middle of the airport, which is just gorgeous, day or night. I mean, look at it at night. It just lights up. It's beautiful. But then you can see all around it are these plants, forest life, just teeming with nature. I mean, I don't know what kind of airports you've been to, but the ones that I've been to are awful, boring, just white and bland, and just generally not a good time to be in. So it'd be beautiful to have something like this be incorporated into our world. And I'm sure the air inside that building is just absolutely... oh, that's good. I know you know that feeling. You've smelled some air where you're like, okay, that hits different. They also have something called Garden by the Bay, which I don't know if you've seen this before, but it's also equally as beautiful. It's outside, so it makes more sense that the nature would be teeming within it, but they just decided that like, hey, we're not going to destroy all the trees and forests and then replant like tiny little ones. We're going to incorporate our designs into it, you know? They've got these really cool tree structures that are just everywhere. I don't know exactly what they do, but they light up. Maybe it's just for art or something like that. I'll try to take a closer look next time I'm in Singapore, and I'll report back to you guys. Report back to you guys. I hate how my brain works sometimes. I had to say that one out loud. It's got all these walkways everywhere. It's just this beautiful park that people can walk around, and they've made sure to incorporate as much nature as possible that they could in the design. It's a place that really makes you think, holy cow, there's some technological advances here, but also holy cow, we figured out a way to make sure that the planet is of utmost importance in this design. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me for this one, is that the planet is first. And I think, especially right now, oh my God. That was the soul of Jeff Bezos. He's trying to kill me for talking about saving the planet. I think right now, solarpunk is something that we can all lean into and we really need, especially as a lot of us worry where our planet's going. Another big concept about this is this idea that you can take what nature has provided as a design and incorporate that into your space as well. Sometimes in science and engineering, people call this biomimicry, where you take the shape of like a bird, say, you know, because nature has shaped it specifically to be as aerodynamic as possible and do this one thing, which is usually flying. Maybe birds do some other stuff, like picking at stuff, eating chicken nuggets from McDonald's in old vines. But biomimicry is the emulation of the models, systems, and elements of nature for the purpose of solving complex human problems. So nature has probably already figured out the best way to do something. So us as humans shouldn't try to reinvent the wheel. We should get our binoculars out, look around the forest, and shout, "Hey, what are you doing over there? How are you doing that?" And then copy it on a piece of paper and take it back to the lab and say, "Guys, got something great for you. Listen, it's called birds." So now the question is, how do I decorate for solarpunk if this is something I'm interested in, right? Okay, well, I've got you, you know, because that's what I do here. I help, right? The biggest thing is just bringing the outside in. See how your space can interact with nature in a way that maybe when you step into your home, you don't know whether you're inside or outside. Don't make that delineation between walking through your front door, your back door, your garage door, and saying, "I'm in a building." Maybe do a double take and say, "Did I just turn around? Is this outside? Hello?" Use tons of greenery. Just get so many plants that it's so hard to take care of, and at this point you can't have any other hobbies because you need to make your plants live and survive. But then along with all these plants, maybe you already have a ton of plants, so you're halfway to your solarpunk aesthetic lifestyle. You need to incorporate those super futuristic modern touches, so like ideas of what people from the past thought the future was going to be, or what people now think the future is going to be, because we have super modern, clean, sleek design. Just take inspiration from that, but add in the nature element from it. And like I said before, the whole idea of this aesthetic is that you don't want it to look like all the humans on Earth had died because something that we did to ourselves and the planets caused this wasteland apocalypse and the plants started growing back over everything we had destroyed. You want it to look like we all died, but we made so many technological advancements that just something happened to kill us all, and the plants are like, "Oh, that's a cool modern couch. Randy, look at this couch. That's pretty cool. That is a cool couch." So this one segues me into our next design aesthetic. It's called retrofuturism. This one's probably more of something you've seen before, but I don't think a lot of people really decorate with it because it's a little bit weird and strange, and people are scared of the weird and strange. Trust me, I know. When I walk around the grocery store, babies are staring at me because they think I'm just a big, tall version of them. "Mother, I am hungry. Please feed me." So the fun part about this aesthetic is that this isn't actually like what we now think the future is going to be. It's what the people in like the 50s and the 60s thought the future was going to be. I know you know what I'm talking about, all the designs where it's like everyone's like, "Oh, they're going to be flying in cars and doing this and that and having an actual functioning society." Well, joke's on them. That didn't happen. So you have all these designs of like these cool, whirly, wobbly, swifting around shapes, and you're like, I need my place to look like that. If you watched Tovlo's, no wait, it's Tuvalu, right?
Tuvalu.
What kind of name is that?
If you watch Tuvalu's video for No One Dies from Love, you kind of know exactly what I'm talking about. That house that she was doing it in is definitely retrofuturism, so you can take pointers from that video and just apply it to your own house. But an interesting quote I found about this aesthetic when I was doing all my research on it was from Reluxa.com, where they kind of described retrofuturism as an imitation of a future that never actually existed. It's a copy, but without an original. And I thought that was just an interesting way to kind of go about describing the aesthetic, because you technically are copying someone's designs and stuff, but it wasn't actually like ever a thing. It was all just concepts and ideas. So it never really had its moment to shine, but now people are looking back on it and they're deciding, hey, I want to make this a reality, because we do have the technology to do it. If you just take a look at some of these pictures, you can see the general concepts of retrofuturism. It's got all these organic shapes, you've got curved lines, lots of circular kind of ideas, and not really a lot of rectangles. You don't see a lot of sharp lines. This living room pit, absolutely love it. That is my presidential campaign for 2024 when I run for president, is bring living room sitting pits back in style. Put them in homes, put them in new builds, guys. Come on, pits everywhere. Pits, 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 pits. So now for this aesthetic, how do you decorate for retrofuturism? A lot of this style comes with the architecture of your home, so it's probably going to be pretty hard if you live in like an apartment or a studio. I mean, even in a house, if you don't have like a ton of money to spend on renovations, because you need these walls to have these weird wobbly shapes. You need circles, you need orbs, you need whatever that isn't normal now, you know, like a squared off box. Maybe you can start with making some of like the arches in your doorways a little bit weirder. I think a really big part of what you can do now, if you don't have a lot of money but you want to lean into retrofuturism, is just accent pieces. Just so you can kind of give your space a sense of retrofuturism. So the first thing you want to do is like go to Pinterest, read magazines, go to the library and try to find old advertisements or old articles about what people thought the future was going to look like, and kind of lean into that, and then take inspiration from the pieces and the things out of those that you love and bring them into your own home. I mean, go to Boomerang and just watch a couple episodes of the Jetsons and just decorate your home like that. I don't know. That's another way you could do it, guys. I'm just spitballing here. The biggest thing you want to think is organic shapes, organic lines. Put those everywhere in your house. Are you going to put a rug down? Don't get a rectangle rug. Maybe DIY it and cut it up to make it a little wibbly wobbly wavy. Find a couch that isn't a square. Find a couch that isn't a rectangle. Guys, just have some fun, okay? So now we're going a little bit backwards in time. We're kind of throwing it back, if you will. Okay, so this style you've probably heard even more about, but I still think it's a little bit niche-y. I feel like Vogue and Architectural Digest have made articles about these, so I don't know. But it's called Grand Millennial. I'm sure you've heard about this one where it's the idea where it's a little bit cottage-core-y, but it's more vintage and it's more like wallpaper pattern, bam, 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 boom, explosion all over your whole house. And I'm obsessed with it because of the colors. I am so sick of these like boring, dull, gray, uninspired houses and room and designs that this just screams, I need this in my home. You know, it's all these different touches of fun patterns, fun colors. The character in these designs of these rooms is so amazing. I love it so much. The whole thing of Grand Millennial is really that your grandmother's things are cool again. And I feel like this trend is happening throughout all of anything where design happens, like even fashion. Like you saw coastal grandmother become a thing. Now we need grandmothers in the home. Bring grandmothers back to the home. Not that home, your home. So a lot of people could mistake this aesthetic design for cottagecore, but the big difference is that like this idea is that the grandmother you have isn't someone who lives in the middle of nowhere in like a prairie and churns butter every day, but this is a grandma who's a total rock star whose design taste is so impeccable and insane that every time you step into her house, you see plates on the wall of little horses and different presidents and weird old vintage scenes, and her wallpaper is just this amazing mess of like I Spy flowers and people and birds and wildlife, and then she's got pleated lampshades everywhere, and then her curtains are also bright yellow, but then all of her couches and chairs are this disgusting patterned floral mess that's like bright red, and then the rug on the floor is like blue, but then she also has just like all these trim details everywhere, and then all of her wood furniture is this like dark wood that has all these details and character to it, and then all of a sudden you're dizzy and then you pass out, and then your grandmother offers you tea and cookies because she's that bitch. I think one of my favorite touches of this design style is kind of matching the wallpaper to the trim of your wallpaper wall, the wainscoting, you know, on the base of it. You know what I'm talking about. Shut up. So this picture, you can see the wainscoting is like this dusky teal, and then the wallpaper also has that same color in it. And I think that is just so beautiful. Just along with this table, that like orangey wood just makes me want to scream, thank you, grandmother. Give me your things. So how are you going to decorate with this style? I think this one is one of the more accessible design styles that I've talked about because you can find these things with people you're related to. Hopefully you have a good relationship with your family and like your grandparents and your parents and stuff like that. If not, you're going to have to go to the thrift store, find like a friend who has a rockin' awesome grandma So just ask around, maybe put an ad out on Craigslist, looking for grandmothers that are awesome and super cool and have some cool vintage stuff that you want to give me. Please love me. Put that on the internet. So go to your actual grandparents' house, walk around, and see if there's any heirlooms that your grandma or your grandpa wants to keep in the family. Say, hey, grandma, grandpa, I love this thing that's on your wall. Do you think I could decorate my own home with this? I want to keep it in the family, and I think this would look really good in my space. How's about it? Or another thing, plan a day trip with your grandma. Go to a store, go to a thrift store, go to an antique store, vintage store, whatever. Plan a day. You can have lunch in the middle there. Get your grandma a little tea, a little coffee, a little water, keep her hydrated, and then have her walk around and pick pieces that she likes. Anything that she picks, put it in the basket, and then decorate your home with that. And say, thank you, Grandma. I love your design style. Yes, go Grandma. Overall, the main point is go love your grandparents and copy their style. And take them everywhere with you because they're precious and they deserve to be loved. The fourth aesthetic that I'm currently obsessed with and super inspired with is called cluttercore. The idea of this kind of really swings in from like grand millennials ideas of just throwing a lot of patterns and things on the wall, but amping it up to like times 1,000, saying throw everything you own onto the walls, onto every little piece of like furniture you have, any space that you could put something on, put it on there because you can't have empty spaces. I very much vibe with this style because I love things and like little knickknacks and paintings and picture frames and just candles and whatever the heck I have. I want to put it on the wall. On the wall. This style really gives you a chance to curate everything you love and makes you happy and smile and has memories attached to it and put it up in your space and really show off who you are as a person immediately when someone walks into your house. They're going to be just bombarded with every single thing about you, and they can kind of make pretty split-second decisions about whether they want to be your friend or not, because a lot of people would be turned off and be like, holy cow, there's a lot of stuff on the wall here, but then they need to take a second and say, oh, wow, this is very well curated. I didn't notice that at first, but good job for you. You know, you really put a lot of time and effort into this, and I can see that little frog really goes well with that tiny little astronaut next to that candle that looks like a fried chicken wing. And, oh, is that a snail? Okay, that's a live snail over there. And then you've got an old napkin that's like ripped up. And this isn't hoarding. Guys, I just want to make a disclaimer that this is not hoarding. This is the first step towards hoarding. But we're also going to call it an aesthetic and give it a name and make sure that we're kind of being a little artsy and curative and careful with it. Be careful. Careful, guys. Because this can really go off the rails very quickly, and we do not want that. We want it to look lovely and well thought about. One of the more like mainstream versions of cluttercore, I guess you could call it, is like a gallery wall. It's very much within the design codes of cluttercore, but it's really made its way into the mainstream and kind of acceptable by the general public. Because it's only like one piece of your home that's going to have like a ton of stuff and the rest can be clean, you know? Put all those frames on it, but also for the cluttercore aesthetic, let's think outside the box and put a few more things on the wall that you wouldn't necessarily think would belong on the wall. You know, maybe also put a paper mache parakeet head on the wall or like a stuffed dinosaur head from Target. Hang up a basket on the wall. Put like a pair of roller skates on the wall. But like tiny, itty bitty little roller skates, little baby ones. So they're like so small. I'm so small. Anything that makes you happy and gives you a good vibe or you have a good memory with, put it on that gallery wall. As long as it's not too clunky and it all kind of is cohesive. And like I said, my favorite part of this is that it allows you to really express who you are and every single aspect of you and your past in a way that can make your home feel loved. And somewhere where you can look around and say, oh, that was a fabulous memory. Honestly, I'd say it's really in line with like Marie Kondo's aesthetic, even though her thing is like, it's helping to like clean and organize. But like, if it brings you joy, put it in your home. Some people want to live in like a white sterile little box, and I can't do that. I'm sorry. Everything I love needs to go out there on display for the whole world. It's like a museum for my things, and my things are beautiful and they deserve to be loved and see the sunlight. So, okay, how do you decorate for this? I've been kind of giving you examples and little tidbits, but like, let's do like a breakdown list of things for cluttercore. Step 1, find pieces that have a memory to them. If maybe you make a memory box now of like things you love, and take them out, put them on the wall, put it on a shelf. Did you go to Goodwill and you found like a stupid knickknack of like a little chicken? Nothing special to it, but you like looked at it and you smiled and you laughed for the first time in a while? great, put it on the shelf so every time you pass by it, you look at it and you smile again. Just triggers for making you happy instead of upset and angry. Like I said, get creative with things you put on the wall. Not just pictures, guys. We're talking anything. Anything you want, you can put it on the wall. Just fill the space up. And the final step is make sure that all of this looks purposeful. Be sure that you are curating the pieces that you're putting in your home so that they all kind of relate and tell a story of your life and the things you love and enjoy, and not just taking trash and random stuff and putting it in different places because you can't control yourself. You can be a mess, but not in a mess. Bing bong, we've made it to the last design aesthetic, and I think I've saved one of the best for last because this is bonkers, crazy, so insane. This final design aesthetic is sort of like, now it's niche and it's kind of coming back, but I guess it's really just transgressive in a sense, so it's probably been niche the whole time. This last design aesthetic is called Memphis. In a 2015 article, Ohm Studio actually shared a little bit of the history of Memphis design, saying back in the 1980s, a team of Italian architects and designers, known as Memphis Milano, because of their mutual dislike of the minimalist style of the 1960s and 1970s modernism, the group of creatives set out to make postmodern furniture, fabric, patterns, ceramic, and other decorative objects inspired by Art Deco and pop art, bonding streamlined geometry and electric colors. They further go on to state that it is characterized by bright colors, geometric shapes, strong patterns, stripes, clashing hues, abstract designs, and plastic laminate. This design style is so insane. Like, you have no idea how crazy this is until I show you these pictures. Like, this is just a little bit of what Memphis design is and what it's all about. And I'm very much obsessed with it because it is so stupid. That's, it just goes against everything that people have been like drilling into your head of like modern farmhouse, boring, white, bland, beige, boho, and it goes the complete opposite direction. It says, this is so ugly, it's amazing. Like, look at this chair. It has a ball on the back of it as a leg. Come on, guys. One really good way I can describe that this is probably coming back in a sense is it looks like a Target commercial. Like, especially this photo of this room, it very much gives me the vibe of like kind of what Target does sometimes in their commercials and how they want to display their furniture. You could really also look back to those, do you remember those like bikini swimsuits that were super huge, maybe 5 to 10 years ago, that had those, I'll just put in a picture right here, but they were like neon colors, they had the black band edging. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen these, absolutely. That's very much reminiscent of Memphis design style. And I mean, even in a sense, those weird 2D illusion bags that you saw before 5 to 10 years ago as well, it's very Memphis design. And I mean, even if you watched Emma Chamberlain's newest house tour video from Architectural Digest, you can see this mirror that she has in her dressing room / closet place. It's this wavy mirror, with the lights behind it. That is Memphis design. You don't have to go full-blown crazy with it, but you can add these pieces like she does. Another place you guys might have seen Memphis-inspired design is if you've ever followed this account, Doosan. I don't know exactly how to say their name, but it's a New York-based kind of design firm that makes things and stuff for your home. A lot of bedding. You've probably seen their bedding, like this stuff, these checkerboard blankets that are so cute, but they're very much inspired by Memphis design. So how do you decorate for this one? Honestly, just bright, bold colors. Just be transgressive against what other people are trying to go for. Bold reds, bold greens. Do lots of primary colors. Fill your space up with those wavy lines, the like spheres mixed with squares and rectangles. Be just very geometric about things. Maybe make your wastebasket literally a sphere with a hole in it instead of being a normal wastebasket. What else can you do, guys? Get a lamp that has multiple squares going up it, and then at the top, the globe is a sphere. Or maybe it is another square, and it's literally bright green. Just have fun, be very playful with your design. Take expectations, subvert them with what you think you should be doing. Even the legs on a piece of furniture, make them spheres instead of rectangles, Play with the shapes and do something that normally people would kind of guide you in a way of doing. Say, I'm saying no to you, and I'm doing my own thing over there. So those are the 5 niche interior design aesthetics that I am currently into right now. so obsessed with them. They just give me life. If I had a home, I would fill my home with it. Do with it as you want. Do with it as you wish. Maybe take some of them. I don't know, whatever you want. But I hope you enjoyed all those because they're super fun. If you haven't heard about them before, now you have. And I urge you to do something along the lines, take inspiration from them, and add those pieces to your home and your space. Let me know what was your favorite design aesthetic, or if you hated all of them, because honestly, my taste is a little bit eclectic and weird in a sense that not a lot of people would like it, but I love ugly things. And that's why I love myself. So if you liked today's video, make sure you like it below. Leave that like, because I like when you leave that like. All right. And also subscribe for more videos just like this one. Check out some of my old videos. Last week we did all of IKEA's catalogs and going through them and roasting them, which was a fun time. It did very well. So maybe you could watch that again. That'd be pretty lit. I don't know. What else do you want to do? You want to comment on the video again? Like I said, that could be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. All right. Well, I usually post videos on Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays. I don't know, usually around 5 to 6 because I still have a day job. I will see you next week with another video. Who knows what we're doing? Maybe it's that elusive Taco Bell furniture flip. If I can get it to be right, because it is annoying me so much right now, I hate it. Have a wonderful, amazing, fantastic, super, spectacular, magical, wonderful, any other adjective that describes something amazing, just like you, day. Because you know what? You deserve it. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.